My name is Peter Shinkoda. I'm just a lowly mere actor. I appeared on Falling Skies for 2 seasons. I'm continuing with my career, working on a few things that I can't really discuss. I've been in a lot of these sci-fi movies, right? So I have some knowledge. I get to read a lot of these great scripts by these great Hollywood writers that are based on great the sci-fi writers like Philip Dick and Isaac Asimov. So I get I'm kind of familiar with that stuff. But as far as things like let's say iRobot and sentient robots and intelligence, of course that's coming. It's coming. It's already here. Honda built Asimo, the robot that dances and break dances. It's all coming.
You think they're going to put an RFID chip in people soon?
Well, they already got the little contraception thing in the girl's arm. It's just an extension of that. Something, a little microchip that either secretes, bleeds out like battery acid or some kind of hormone. That's happening all the time. It's so easy. Nanotechnology. Nanotechnology is just another. The medical community claims, it's for clinical purposes and stuff, but you can use it for all kinds of military purposes too. Everything kind of goes hand in hand. But as far as like the progress of technology, it's a curse and it's a blessing. I think that a lot of the things that are alluded to, and like the collapse of civilization, especially in a lot of these apocalyptic movies, even things like 1984, iRobot, Handmaid's Tale, whatever, Logan's Run, The Island. There's a lot of movies that that comment on the future. I think a lot of these ones, especially the ones that I remarked on, or just brought up or cited, they're more accurate than people think. The whole Judgment Day, the whole Terminator, James Cameron's on the right path when he's talking about the Cyberdyne systems and Skynet. It's absolutely going that way. I think the first actual physical drone that we saw in a movie was in Terminator 3, when Nick Stahl and Claire Danes are running and this little drone comes up, starts following through the facility. That's what drones are. That one's just the Harrier version. It hovers, right? So that's exactly what James Cameron was touching upon when he wrote the original Terminator. The way the media rolls out information is, you got to take it with a grain of salt. As far as I'm concerned, anything that you see on TV, whether it's a narrative TV show or movie or whether it's news, there's always elements, a level of propaganda in it. You can't believe it's a type of brainwashing. But as far as the Boston bombing is concerned, okay, that had a lot of that gripped the nation, the world for a good week, maybe 2 weeks until the Jodi Arias verdict came out and the three abducted girls that were freed. But it would grip the nation. A lot of it was sensational coverage. All of it was inconsistent. Okay, nothing corroborated each other. Everybody's trying to get the scoop on each other, all these different agencies. So you don't know really who's telling the truth. But I'll tell you one thing. I was watching in real time the night that they took down the two suspects, the two perps, right? And they shot the Tamerlan, they somehow they captured him. I was watching that in real time at 2 in the morning on CNN as the coverage was unfolding. So they had no time to edit the footage that they were getting. So they were literally broadcasting and streaming live footage from the firefight, pretty much in real time. I imagine maybe 5, maybe 10 minutes of a delay from the real events that were happening. I saw for myself, and I've seen the clips on CNN live right now from outside Boston, that town that they're in. They were escorting that naked man that looked to me exactly like Tamerlan into a squad car, and I said, "Wow, they arrested him." Well, they got him, and the other one ran, the younger brother. The next day, when I woke up, and I had a couple beers. I was with my friend, to be honest. The next day, I thought that I asked him, I questioned him, because the news You know, and he kept rolling out, and I said, were we mistaken? Weren't you beside me? Did we not witness this naked guy that looks exactly like Tamerlan being escorted into a car, stripped down? And we had remarked on it, going, wow, they took him because he might have been wearing explosive devices, whatnot, you know, concealing weapons in his clothes. So we thought that was, you know, the right procedure. But there was no evidence of that for the next 3 days. And I kept asking him, going, didn't we see him get arrested? Didn't we see him get arrested? But, you know, the news is saying that they subdued him. We're in the process of handcuffing him. But in the end, they said he perished. He died because they were handcuffing him, and then his younger brother had barreled down on him and then ran him over, and the cops jumped out of the way right in time. So why would they be handcuffing him? He's already shot. If they were trying to subdue him, they need a bunch of guys, and the car was barreling down, and you all jumped clear except him. You think he'd be holding on to something, or one guy might have got clear? I mean, it's just too clear. And what a you know what do you call it? Convenient you know, story saying that he got run over. I never heard of like two escapees running, and then one of them runs over the other person, especially their older brother. It's just a very strange story, and from what I had seen and how the events unfolded, I have questions because of that massive discrepancy, and a lot of people had been you know, remarking on it and scrutinizing what exactly happened during that takedown. And I know for a fact that they were broadcasting some you know, a naked fellow, and they're putting him in the squad car, and eyewitness accounts have you know, have corroborated the fact that he was taken down and subdued, and actually in, you know, constraints. He was handcuffed, but next day they were in the process of handcuffing him, and then he was run over, and then the whole autopsy thing, not releasing his body and whatnot, and we saw that he was shot multiple times. He had lacerations, if you'd seen those images. So I'm thinking, you know, how did this all happen? There's a lot of questionable stuff, at least in the sense of its coverage. In no way am I alluding to government, you know, kind of conspiracies. I'm just saying it's very confusing. I'm saying that nothing was consistent in its reporting. So to me, I'm just re-emphasizing the fact that nothing can be trusted. Just because it's some pixelated images in front of you with some sound doesn't mean it's fact. You know, I think people should always be wary of that, what they're consuming, and you know, what they hold is the truth or is fiction. Yeah, there was some strange things in the sense that you know, this party that I walked into was very synonymous to you know, things we may have seen in Eyes Wide Shut. So it was there was a party that I went to maybe in the mid-late 90s, and I walked into it not knowing much about it. It was in Sherman Oaks, actually, in one of these mansions facing the valley on the hill, and I walked in there. It was maybe a couple hours after midnight, and through some of my friends that I was with, somebody had privy to this one secret party, and I ended up going there with maybe a handful of friends, and just like, you know, on it's like you hear about these mythical Hollywood parties. It turned out to be one of those. It was a big party, and it was definitely sex themed, and you know, there was couples around, and it was definitely a swinging party. And I went to one of those, and no matter how much you prepare yourself, and no matter how much experience and knowledge you have, what goes on, when you see it viscerally in front of you in real time, you know, kind of threw me. So I stayed there for maybe a couple hours with friends. I didn't really participate in anything other than just walking around, being, you know, the voyeur that I am. I'm such a creep. But yeah, it turned out to be, you know, an innocent swinger party. To me, I didn't see anything that was...
Were they wearing masks?
Yeah, there were some people wearing masks. Some people weren't.
Like Eyes Wide Shut?
Perhaps, yeah. Some people were wearing like masquerade feathered masks. But I don't think it was, you know, some prerequisite for the party. And I certainly didn't see any kind of paganistic, ritualistic stuff that goes on in every sorority and fraternity during Hell Weekend, Frosh Weekend, whatever, Pledge Weekend across the United States. I think that you know, people are very much in tune and interface, almost live on the computer monitor screens, and a lot of their interaction with the outside world, more so than ever, is through their computer. It's very deceiving, and I'd like to remind people that just that everything that you see on the computer, just remember that it's just a screen with some noise coming out, some registers certain ideas. They're never necessarily true. As an actor, I'm involved in a lot of projects, and I portray these roles. But again, I'm working in a collaborative process of hundreds and hundreds of people. I'm certainly not making the decisions. So, whatever however you interpret these shows that I work in, it's not really the true representation of who I am, or collectively who Asian guys are. So, having said that, you must be very conscientious that when you even watch the news that is supposedly true, you always have to be wary. Always keep in the back of your mind that all it is a bunch of ideas coming through this screen. It's not, from your experience, it's just words. Anything can be said. Be very conscientious about what you believe, because there's a lot of information coming at people these days. None of it's accurate. None of it is accurate. So whether it's a narrative TV show, in the form of entertainment, or whether it's a news gathering service, whatever's put in front of you, know that you can't just trust it. You have to scrutinize things, and always stay true to your heart. If you question things, know that there could be a more fact-based truth out there as opposed to whatever they're feeding you.
Authoritarian control freaks throughout history have sought to make populations dependent. The United Nations openly has talked about using food as a weapon against the third world and the industrialized first world. State Department Memorandum 200, developed by Henry Kissinger, called for destroying the food capacity, not just of the United States, but every country in the world, so they could use food scarcity as a political weapon of control. Just a decade ago, less than 10 million Americans were on food stamps. 4 years ago, it was 25 million. It's now reached almost 50 million. Socialist healthcare is designed to destroy our healthcare system. The establishment wants you to be a bunch of cowardly, dumbed-down people who can't stand up for yourselves. That's why they're rushing to try to restrict citizens owning firearms. Because since the early 1990s, gun ownership has gone straight up, while violent crime has gone straight down by 49%. And globalist-controlled strongholds like Chicago and New York, where they've taken the citizens' guns, have the highest crime rates in the world. What am I getting at here? The system doesn't want you to be self-sufficient. That's why I promote the fact that you should go out, buy firearms, and go take lessons and learn how to use them. I want you to stand up for your birthright of liberty and freedom. During a serious meltdown, they're going to tell you, hey, you want food? Turn in your guns. And that's why we need to put the globalists in check. And then finally bring them to checkmate by being self-sufficient, by being prepared, by having a garden, by learning how to can your own foods, by having friends and family and community that will stand together. But at the heart of that is having quality, storable foods. And that's why I went out more than a decade ago and found the very best food company to be my sponsor, eFoods Direct. They're the company that I personally use for my emergency food storage preparation, whether it be for natural disasters or the tyranny that is intensifying. So give them a call, 800-409-5633. That's 800-409-5633. Or efoodsdirect.com/Alex to find the weekly and monthly specials. But they're always running the specials where you can get the free 6 meals and the eFoods Direct audio CD put together by the experts in storable foods to answer all your questions. The eFoods planning guide, the eFoods brochure, the eFoods catalog, plus 6 free meals, creamy potato soup, tortilla soup, and cheesy chicken rice, so you can sample the high-quality storable foods from eFoods Direct. They've got a bunch of other specials.
The 2-week food supply provides one adult with 81 servings of healthy, delicious, storable food for 14 days.
The 1-month food supply provides 192 servings for 28 days.
And then there's the 1-month family food pack. It will change the way you look at the food in your pantry. Every time you eat one of these meals, you are eating healthy, delicious food and saving a lot of money.
The 3-month food supply, 576 servings of storable food for 91 days.
And the 1-year food supply will provide you with 2,304 servings of healthy, delicious, storable food for 1 full year.
Your meals are as delicious and nutritious tonight as they'll be in 25 years.
Bottom line, there's a bunch of specials at efoodsdirect.com/Alex. You can also call them at the toll-free number on your screen, and they can send you a catalog with all the specials detailed and tell you about the weekly and monthly specials that they're always running. efoodsdirect.com/Alex to find all the specials, or call the toll-free number. And so in closing, when you buy from efoodsdirect.com, you are supporting the radio broadcast, the nightly news, the magazine, the films, and everything we're doing. Because we're not like MSNBC or Media Matters that get government and corporate funding to bring down America and bring in tyranny. We are funded by our sponsors and you, the viewers and listeners that support them. Again, that's efoodsdirect.com/Alex or 800-409-5633. And when you're also visiting Infowars.com or PrisonPlanet.com, you can click on the banners to take you to the weekly and monthly specials. It's like the Hank Williams Jr. song, "A Country Boy Can Survive," because you can't starve us out and you can't make us run, because these boys were raised on shotguns. Well, there aren't really a lot of good old boys left anymore, are there? And those that are out there are demonized and are enemy number 1 by Homeland Security. And good old boys come in all shapes, colors, and sizes. They're people that aren't chumps, who understand that they're going to take care of their family and that nobody else is. They're people that understand that if somebody else is taking care of them, that makes them a slave. And that the government doesn't want you dependent because they want to build a great future for you. They want to get you dependent so they can social engineer us. So the answer is get self-sufficient, become men again, and tell the New World Order to go straight to hell. Alex Jones signing off for Infowars.com and eFoods Direct, our great sponsor.